Hey everybody, my name is Bryn Bliska and I'm a musician, producer, and musical director based here in Los Angeles. And today I'm super excited to give you guys a little bit of a rundown on Osmium, which is a new distortion matrix from Reason. I feel like it does a lot of things that multiple other things that I really love do, but all together and with that Reason modularity where you can route things differently and really get creative with it. So today I figured I'd make a beat with it, and I thought it'd be fun to limit myself to one sound source. So I've got my Prophet Rev 2 here from Sequential, one of my favorite synths. I figured we'd do like analog synth in the box distortion, kind of like heavy vibes, a little bit electro was sort of what I was feeling inspired by. So first up, I've just got a nice simple kick patch that I made. It's got just a bit of resonance modulation on the mod wheel. So yeah, we'll go ahead and lay some stuff down and get started. All right, we'll go ahead and loop that up. Sweet. So that's currently totally dry. And I found a preset called Drum Machine Destruction. Right out of the gate, what you'll see here is we've got multi-band processing. It's super helpful. So this yellow mod is gonna basically apply to everything across the spectrum. And then we've got a separate low pass filter and high pass filter where we can add different processing to those areas of the spectrum. We can pan them, we can level them, we can do all kinds of stuff. So if we just sort of check out what this sounds like out of the box, I'm gonna crank the wet, so it's gonna be obliterated. Totally crazy. Let's take it down. And if we just lift that filter up, you'll hear even more crushing happening on the high end if we really let it rip out. So maybe we land somewhere in the middle, take that mix back down. I thought it'd be cool to add some bit crush to the high end. It's just got like a little bit of a tonal vibe. That's pretty fun. Something I thought would be awesome too would be to basically modulate the amount of the mix level. And so we've got an LFO, I've got it synced. And if we just sort of pump that in and out, that's kind of fun. So that's affecting that low end chain. I like that sort of swell vibe. And maybe we could pan that bit stuff to see if it's a little more. It's giving like a little stereo pop in a way that's kind of fun. You'll also notice there's an input and output effects. I went ahead and added a transient shaper just to give us a little poke. If we take it off, we just lose a little bit of that kick that I wanted to emphasize. On the output, we've got a compressor. Could maybe chill it out a tiny bit. So here's without Osmium, back to regular kick with Osmium. Now it's really living and moving. So I'm pretty happy with that. I might take the mix down just a tiny bit. And let's go ahead and add a backbeat, get a little snare going. I've got really just a noise snare. Sort of the harder I play it, the faster the decay happens and the filter's closed a bit more. So we'll just throw that in the mix and here we go. Something like that. I think that flam might be fun. So, as far as Osmium for the snare, there's a preset I found called Dynamic Drive. A lot of bit crushy energy. This is fully wet. Totally smashed. I think that's kind of fun to just throw a bit of that in the mix. And as you'll see, I basically panned the high-end processing and the low-end processing to different sides. I'll make that really extreme for a second. I'm gonna take it back towards the middle, but it just gives us a little more energy. We've also got an LFO on the mix. So you'll hear it super wet, dry again, wet, dry. And it's kind of nice to have a bit of variation over the bar, but not quite as extreme. So I like that. We'll go ahead and add a hi-hat here. So I've just got, again, just a noise ARP with a little bit of flanging. A little bit late. We'll fix it. All right, so, and we check into Osmium land. I found a preset called Dirty Morph Wah, and I thought it would be nice to see how that sounded. Currently, let's jack it up. So, nice moving filter. And I've already got an LFO assigned to the dry wet. And it's at sort of a random interval. It's not synced, which I think is kind of fun. Gives a little bit of an out of time modulation element. Yeah, so I think just a bit that's super nice. Got another tangent shaper really helping us cut there. A little saturator on the output. Alright, so that's quite fun. Last up for the drums. Could add a little bit of like a tom arp. I've got this guy I like to use. It's just kind of a grimy, low-endy groove. Opens up with a bit more resonance on the wheel. So we'll throw that in. Sweet. Okay, so looking at Osmium for this one, I found something called Bob's Muff, and it's just adding a ton of drive. It's operating on the whole spectrum, but especially because of the nature of the sound, to me it's really crushing that low mid in a really fun way. Here's like fully wet zone, just obliterated. We've got this filter kind of keeping us in check. And the filter does have a little bit of LFO action as well. So I'll go back maybe to like a moderately destroyed sound. I really like that. Something I might do, just add a filter on the way in rather. Just to like not let the lows get too crazy. Oops. It's pretty massive. Something like that's kind of fun. Alright, in context. Alright, so I'm feeling good about the drums. That's a fun playground. And I would say let's go ahead and add some bass. Again, we'll keep the tone pretty chill, just to sort of let us see. Alright, so that's a vibe. Our toms are really a huge personality. I'm thinking in order to sort of chill them out, I'm gonna filter them even more heavily. Maybe like that. All right, so let's give our bass a little love from Osmium. Pulled up something called Synth Bass Crusher, and it sounds pretty gnarly. Here's like full wet. So it can feel, currently I've got some mod on the dry wet. If we just take that out, it's just adding a lot of like rich upper information for us. It's kind of fun to have it come in and out a bit. Gives it a little bit of a wah vibe. In context. Sweet. So I'm feeling happy about that. I would say let's go ahead and add a pad, get a little more choral information in there, and we'll keep it pretty low key. It's like a saw pad with a little bit of pitch LFO on the aftertouch. But yeah, we'll throw that in, give it some love with Osmium. Sweet. That works. So, if we want to add a bit of sauce to this guy, something called Synth Pad Mover that intrigued me. Adding a lot of kind of upper harmonic information in a really nice way. Woo! With this pitch shift. And I've gone ahead and kind of panned that around just to add a little bit more. Add a little bit of oscillation on our filter as well. So if we just really emphasize that, you can hear the pan. Filter sounds crazy. So take it back to a more reasonable zone and just mix it in a little bit. I like that kind of meow. Here's without. So it's just giving it a huge personality. And so now we've really got every element has a mass personality. And if I were to arrange this out, I would do a lot of sculpting to sort of like start with more of these drier sounds, add in some of this Osmium craziness, probably like automate a lot of it. Here's everything together that we have currently. A lot going on, but I think all these elements are so sick. Gives us a lot to work with. Even drop out the bass for a second. So kind of, that's where we're at so far. One thing I thought would be fun, since I love to rip on the keys, if we just take a pretty chill lead and give it some craziness via Osmium. There was a patch called Laser Synth Lead, which immediately sparked my interest. So we've got upper bit crushing and delay. That's quite fun. If we just isolate that, it sounds a bit like this. And that bit crush has a big sweep on it, creating that sort of laser effect. Bringing the drive back in. just getting us in the zone. And then this low end cab is really nice, giving us a little more body. I did filter out some of the extra low end just to like keep our mix in a non-insane place. We'll see what it sounds like. That's kind of the zone that we're in. So, a lot of choices. I would say if we just take all the Osmium out of the mix for 1 second. This is no Osmium at all. Really chill. I'm gonna take the lead out. Bring back in some of our guys. So now we've got our drums back. Here comes the bass. And the pad. It's just adding a ton of character across the board. Especially on the drums. I'm really loving that vibe. So all in all, I think this is a really incredible plugin. I'm going to be using this a lot, and I feel like I've really just scratched the surface. Genuinely, I think this is going to become a go-to for me. And sort of, my goal is to reach for it when I would reach for other things that do similar stuff, but just to kind of mix it up because there's so much capability. And again, with the routing and reason, I've barely scratched the surface, but you could do so much to sort of like add different modulations, sidechain things, really, really go crazy. So overall, I would say check this out. Let me know what you think. I think it's incredibly powerful. As you can see, I'm running it as a VST3. I'm mostly an Ableton user. But whether you're in Reason or in another DAW, I think it's just such a great addition to sort of like your creative arsenal. And I'm super psyched to hear what everyone does with it. Please let me know, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.